is how we are going to exterminate white people, because that, in my estimation, is the only conclusion I have come to. We have to exterminate white people off of the face of the planet to solve this problem. Now, I don't care whether you clap or not, but I'm saying to you that we need to solve this problem because they are going to kill.
That new information coming out in police documents just
starts right now.
It broke out this note, my nose right there on the side, and did some damage to my eye.
That man was just one of the many victims after several downtown beatings over the past 4 months. Tonight, we are learning new information about the violent and racist overtones behind the attacks. Good evening. Thanks for joining us. I'm Ron Zapoli.
And I'm Deborah Takahara. That new information coming out in police documents just released this afternoon.
Inside, we are hearing explosive details about the suspects and what was behind the racially motivated attacks. Fox 31's John Bowman has been following the new developments all day. He joins us live with the latest information. John?
Well, there is not much you can say in defense of the 30-some suspects who have been involved in gang life in the city of Denver. They are members of 2 different street gangs that came together to assault, beat, and rob mainly white people they found walking alone in areas all over the city. From the 16th Street Mall to Lodo to Cheeseman Park, these individuals attacked and committed hate crimes, according to police documents, and many attacks that they found around the city. According to police affidavits, for 4 months, members of 2 street gangs came together to assault, beat, and rob mainly white men they found walking alone.
The unusual nature of this is the large number of individuals that have been involved over such a long period of time.
Affidavits indicate victims heard gang members saying, "This place smells like white people," adding things like, "I hate you bleeping white people." After the racial slurs, the attacks would begin. Victims suffered serious injuries. Some were even hospitalized.
It broke out this note, my nose right there on the side, and did some damage to my eye.
Paperwork indicating they targeted white folk, adding that's all they'll go after. Some even saying they gained status in their gangs for beating up white dudes.
Some of the information that's contained in the affidavits is very graphic. It is very inflammatory.
Graphic details and seriousness of the crimes have led many of the suspects to be charged with hate crimes.
Some feel like it's an initiation, it's a fad or just a trend, and it's funny. But it's a very, very, very serious type of crime.
Police paperwork indicates the victims deserved the beatings because they had money and valuable items.
In their mind, it's justified because they're able to feed themselves, feed their family, get some money, beat up folks.
The puzzling thing is how surveillance video captures many people watching the crimes being committed and doing nothing about them.
Some of them feel like it's worth taking a chance. Because again, if I get away, then I'll eat or I'll have some money in my pocket. If I don't, for some, they said the worst thing that happened is I go back to jail.
A very telling insight from Reverend Leon Kelly, who deals with gang members and has been doing so for more than 25 years in the city. He says in other cities, similar videos have been made so that these so-called street thugs could actually make money selling those videos. All the juveniles and adults who have been charged now will face serious charges as their cases wind their way through the criminal justice system. Ron?
John, are there any other suspects out there, or have they all been arrested?
All 35 have been taken into custody. They have all had their first appearances. When they when they were first arrested, they faced $1 million bail. And now that they've had those first appearances, those bails have come down. But the police say the likelihood of many of them getting out, not very good, and that is a good thing as well.
John, thanks very much.
With 1 million visitors, crowd control is part of patrol every year at the Iowa State Fair. But this year, police say that patrol is like no other they can remember.
What I was told from some officers that it was like a swarm of bees.
On the fair's first Friday night, dozens of teens attacked other teens. One spectator recorded part of it and posted it on the website YouTube. Police say several other attacks on innocent fairgoers then followed. And then there was this on the fair's final weekend, perhaps the most unsettling for police.
A group of black males and females were out at the fair yelling out that it's Beat Whitey Night.
Authorities say Beat Whitey Night led to another mob mess Sunday night.
Troopers say they tried to push the unruly group out of the fairgrounds and passed here through the main gate. That's when Des Moines police started fighting with the group. One officer says he was hit in the back of the head and went down to the ground. That's when other officers rushed in to try to help, and the F words and the fists were flying from the group. Police say they had to use chemical spray and tasers to try to calm the situation.
A stack of incident reports detail numerous officers' accounts of the injuries to fairgoers, like this one where one man suffered 2 broken eye sockets, and the attacks on officers, both with words and with fists. Now that the fair is finished, police hope the fights are too, but they still have to figure out what caused them.
Most of our victims happen to be white. Now, if this is a racial thing, I don't know. It's all under investigation. It's just unfortunate this has to happen outside the Iowa State Fair, because it's a great place to be with your family. It's scary.
Seattle teenager is held hostage and beaten for hours, he says, all because of the color of his skin. Good evening, I'm Sabra Gertz.
And I'm John DeCepolo. 2 men kicked and whipped the victim at gunpoint and said they singled him out because he's white. Como 4's Joel Moreno spoke to the victim's friends and family. He's live tonight in West Seattle. Joel? And John and Sabra, the victim has no doubt that this attack was racially charged. Now, he says he was held down to the ground right here. He says one suspect was kicking him, another pressed a gun to his head, and they say he deserved to be beat because he was white. Severe bruising covers Shane McClellan's face and head after he was held hostage and tortured for hours. His back bears the marks of a vicious whipping, and all because the West Seattle teen is white. They said that when they were beating him with his belt, he said, I don't like white people.
So he was walking back.
The victim was leaving this man's house when he passed 2 suspects near a staircase.
When he came to about here at the stairs, somebody called up to him and they're like, hey, you got a lighter.
But as McClellan walked over to help, the suspects jumped him.
So after they beat him up over here, they started dragging him over here and talking stuff, just like, yeah, dude, we're going to beat you up. We're going to, we're not going to let you go pretty much. We're going to have fun with you.
That's when the racial taunts really began. The suspects pinned the teen to the ground and started kicking him. They told him they were Blood's gang members, held a gun to his head, all the while saying they singled him out because he's white.
That little hole right here, that's where he had his face, and they were just kicking him.
Sitting right here, and every time he started crying, they'd start kicking him in the head. And they put out cigarettes on the back of his neck.
The victim says the suspects also urinated on him and doused him in beer. At some point, he passed out, and when he came to hours later, they were gone. The teen got help from a passing driver and was rushed to the hospital.
I don't think this was the first time. I mean, if it wasn't Shane, it probably would have been somebody else.
Active investigations. Seattle police have their bias crimes unit looking into whether this is a hate crime. They've got a couple of suspects in mind, and they're going to put together a photo montage to see if the victim can identify anyone. Reporting live here in West Seattle, Joel Moreno, Como 4 News.
Well, and it's hard to look at those pictures of the victim.
Investigating a hate crime in Upper Fells Point after a group of teens verbally and physically assaulted a victim. Police say there have actually been 4 robberies in Upper Fells and Butchers Hill and believe they may all be connected. ABC 2 News' Brian Kubler has more on the story and what police are looking for. He joins us live.
Kelly, the victims describe a group of up to 10 teenagers, in each case beating the victim and then taking their cell phones and cash. It's happening within just a few blocks here in Upper Fells and Butchers Hill. The victims are all white, and in most cases, they describe a group of black teens. Police consider at least one of the robberies a hate crime after the suspects used expletives and called the victim, quote, white boy.
I think it's disgraceful. I really do, because this is a nice neighborhood to turn around. It could be better, but if people want to do that, business going to slow down.
And Nadia McVeigh, who opened Carducci's Corner Bar in Upper Fells last year, could hardly afford the threat. The last year has been tough, but her regulars faithful. The last thing she or any other business needs now is a roaming group of teens targeting a specific type of victim in such a small area.
It makes me sad because you try to make something out of a place and then stuff like this happen is not right.
There is talk that there's possible gang involvement, and we're not ruling that out at this point, but we just don't have enough to say yes or no.
What police do have is 4 cases, one of which considered a hate crime. In all cases, white males were attacked and robbed of their cell phones and cash. In one of the instances, the suspect brandished a gun, but no weapons have been used in the beatings. Each victim describes a group of 8 to 10 teens ages 15 to 18. It is enough of a threat to boost patrols and arrest whatever gang or group is targeting residents in the area.
We need to get some people to talk to. We need to see some other signs, but we do have a heavy presence of officers that hopefully will figure this out very soon.
Now, these robberies are happening between 9:30 p.m. and 1 a.m. both Monday and Tuesday nights. Police urge anyone that they see anything suspicious in this area to go ahead and call police. Reporting live in Upper Fells this evening, Brian Kubler, ABC2 News.
To the eye, to the head, and basically to the face.
Marty Marshall relives the horrifying night he was viciously attacked. Marty and his family had just left Firestone Park after watching fireworks on June 27th. They made it to a friend's home on Girard Street. That's when Marty says 30 to 50 black kids between the ages of 9 and 18 turned violent out of the blue.
They just came up behind us and they just jumped on us and started beating people up.
Marty tried to help a friend who got hit in the back of the head.
Next thing you know, I had 10 kids around on me, kicking me in the head, hit me in the back of the head.
All I could think was just don't let him die,
15-year-old Rachel Hobson pulled one of the attackers off her father, then she too was knocked to the ground and got a bloody lip. Rachel remains horrified.
I'm scared to sleep. I'm scared to talk to anybody, be close to anybody, because it's just that fear.
Stunned by what she witnessed, Yvonne Marshall tossed her 14-year-old son into some bushes to protect him.
We homeschool our children because of the violence that was going on in schools to keep them safe, and now this.
We're still asking if anybody has any information that could help us break this case or find any suspects, to please contact our agency.
They're still out there, so everybody out there, they need to watch out.
Baltimore City bus. They say the attack by 9 black teens on a white woman may constitute a hate crime. The woman's male friend and 2 other people were also assaulted, but not as severely. A 3rd passenger and the bus operator intervened in the attack and may have saved the woman's life.
I knew where I saw a swing come at me. I felt kicks, punches, stabs, everything. Like I said, when they did this, when I started to scream, I could literally feel something crack in my eye. I was bleeding profusely from my nose. Blood was coming out of my eye, and blood was coming off my head. I have bruised ribs. I have shoe prints on my back.
Well, parents say the teens were provoked, but authorities say they found no evidence to support.
Employee last Monday. The video has gone viral, so the attack and what's possibly behind it are only now just coming to light. Fox 5's Audrey Barnes is in the web center with details of the crime, the charges, and the investigation. Audrey?
Well, the victim of that savage attack says it was definitely a hate crime, and she's threatening to sue McDonald's and the half-dozen other employees who stood by and watched and did nothing to help her.
They were kicking me in my face, kicking me in my back.
It's hard to watch the attack. 22-year-old Chrissy Pola says 2 girls, one 14, the other 18, spit in her face, threw her to the ground, and repeatedly kicked her in the head. Pola says the girls jumped her when she tried to use the bathroom after one of their boyfriends tried to hit on her. The vicious attack escalated when they realized she was a transsexual.
people who were like me and who are like me. It's a shame they have to go outside every day wondering if they're going to get hurt or if they're going to get robbed or raped.
An elderly woman tried to break up the fight and she gets hit in the face. As a manager tries to throw the girls out of the restaurant, other employees in their red McDonald's uniforms can be seen standing by watching.
They just sat there and watched it, and there was at least 6 employees there watching it, rooting for the girls to hurt me.
And in fact, the girls rush back in and continue their attack, pulling Chrissy by the hair towards the door, only letting go when she has a seizure.
Transgender people get hassled in all different kinds of public accommodation settings, and whether there are restaurants involved or not. I mean, nobody deserves what that victim got.
Mara Kiesling, executive director of the National Center for Transgender Equality, says 53% of the transgender people they surveyed reported harassment at a restaurant. But she says there's an even bigger issue at play here.
That a 14-year-old and an 18-year-old would treat anybody this way is just truly stunning, unfortunate, and something we should all be worried about.
The 14-year-old is being charged as a juvenile with assault. Charges are pending against the 18-year-old. The state's attorney's office in Baltimore County is reviewing the case to see if hate crime charges should be filed.
I want everybody to be safe. I really do.
Now, late today, we found out that McDonald's has fired the employee who videotaped the attack on Chrissy, and they may take action against those other employees who were there and did nothing to help her as well. Now, Chrissy's friends and a lot of people who don't even know her are now offering words of support on a new Facebook page that popped up just today and is growing by the minute. Chrissy says essentially she's homebound now, afraid to go out of her house for fear of being attacked again. And with that video out there, she's afraid she won't be able to find a job either. In her words, it's like walking out of the closet all over again.
Well, Audrey, what do we know about the elderly woman that at least tried to stop the fight?
She was punched in the face. In fact, police say that they could see evidence that she was attacked as well. That's all on the police report. Chrissy did say that if she could find that woman, she would give her a big hug and thank her for essentially saving her life. She doesn't know what would have happened if those 2 girls had gotten her outside in the parking lot.
All right. Audrey Barnes live in the Web Center with our story. Thank you.